Hello, I'm Mike Loiacono, a St. Gabriel parishioner since 1980. During those early years, I was very involved with the spiritual activities of the parish. However, being a business person most of my life, unfortunately, religion took a back seat to business survival, to the point where for several years, I didn't even attend Mass. A couple of Christmases ago, my youngest daughter gave me a book on Padre Pio. To my surprise, I found out that Padre Pio had the stigmata. That is, he had the 5 wounds of the crucified Christ on his own body for most of his adult life. He was a devout priest to whom a great number of people went for confession and for the Eucharist. It impressed me that this living miracle of a man spent a goodly portion of his time reverently administering the sacrament of penance, and with passion the sacrament of the Eucharist. Padre Pio died in 1968. He was of my parents' and of my generation. A little over a year ago, my wife gave me a small book on Blessed Carlo Acutis, a 15-year-old computer wizard who documented online the many Eucharistic miracles that have occurred throughout the centuries. Carlo was an ordinary, fun-loving boy, a devout teenager who loved the Eucharist. He died from leukemia as a teenager in 2006. He is currently up for canonization. Many of the miracles he documented involved host bleeding, or host turning to flesh, or host being preserved over many centuries. In my view, this was Jesus directly messaging his true presence. About a year ago, right here at St. Gabe's, Father Andy presented a Dr. Petrie lecture on the series of biblical history of Eucharist. Dr. Brant Petrie is a young, married, and renowned theologian. This series was incredibly enlightening and inspiring. Like a doubting Thomas, through the eyes of education, I have finally acknowledged and now truly believe that the Eucharist is in fact the body and blood of Christ. As if Jesus is resurrected at each Mass, I have come to realize it is He who enters me and I who entered Him. We are one. In my view, a miracle. Needless to say, I am totally in awe at each Mass. As a result of His presence, I'm more inspired to heed Jesus' message and His life-giving guidance. So in conclusion, my recommendation to everyone is to educate yourself as to the biblical history of the Eucharist and the miracles thereof, and pass it on to your family and friends. Thanks for listening.